practices and processes by which Islamic financial institutions (IFS) are essential to ensuring that their business operations are Sharia compliant, affecting their reputation, Sharia governance, and the growth of the Islamic world finance industry has. This assignment aims to discuss the challenges and issues of Sharia oversight in Islamic financial institutions (IFS). Sharia is a unique feature of Islamic finance to ensure the development and stability of the Islamic financial industry. Methodology. This assignment is based on a critical review of the laws and regulations applicable to IFS. This provides a thoughtful synthesis of the practical work of the Sharia oversight system in Malaysia. This document specifically focuses on other contributions from the relevant literature and existing laws and regulations for Islamic financial institutions that offer a synthesis that reflects the practical work of the Sharia governance system in different jurisdictions. Findings. The main concern of the assignment shows that existing IFS Sharia governance practice having gaps and flaws, especially in terms of the general approach to Sharia governance, the internal Sharia governance framework, the attributes of the Sharia board in terms of mechanisms of competence, independence, transparency, and confidentiality, operation procedures, and the Sharia board's assessment. Contribution of the assignments. This assignment has given the students a great awareness that today it is more important than ever to be aware of the problems and challenges faced by Sharia officers in order to strengthen the credibility of the Islamic financial system in the eyes of the Muslim community. Issues are seen as major challenges for an effective Sharia oversight system in IFS. Most of this question relate to the functions and duties of the higher Sharia authorities operating at the national level.
Islamic finance is a particular kind of finance generating distant corporate governance challenges. The Islamic finance is based on Islamic principles, and the activities of Islamic financial institutions must be compliant with Sharia principles, which are profit and loss sharing, free from riba, farur, and gambling. Started in 1976, the first Shariah Supervisory Board (SSB) in Islamic financial institution has been set up by FAZRIENA Islamic Banks of Egypt and followed by Jordan Islamic Bank and Faisal Islamic Bank of Sudan in 1978. In May 1997, Bank Negara Malaysia established the Shariah Advisory Council (SAC) on Islamic banking and takaful. In fact, the Islamic Bank, takaful companies, Islamic financial business, Islamic development financial business, or any other Sharia-based Islamic financial institution is supervised by the SAC. The SAC members have substantial experience and experts in Sharia finance, banking, law, and application, particularly in Islamic economics, banking, and finance. In year 2010, Sharia Governance Framework (SGF) has been introduced to set out the rules, regulations, and procedures in the establishment of a Sharia committee, the role and scope of duties, as well as the relationship between institutional Sharia committee and the SAC of the central bank. The purpose of the establishment of the guideline is to ensure the effective functioning of the Islamic financial system and promoting its integrity. As defined by IFSB 10, Sharia governance is a set of institutional and organizational arrangements designed to enable effective, independent control of Sharia compliance, including Sharia pronouncement, information transmissions, and internal Sharia compliance review. Thus, SSB was founded to oversee and supervise Sharia compliance as an authority body. By providing advice and opinions, SSB dramatically affects Islamic finance and IFI activities. Today, with the increasing presence and the rapid growth of the Islamic finance worldwide, Sharia supervisions are facing new issues and challenges. The development of a comprehensive Shariah governance framework seems to be needed today more than before.
I will present literature review part. First of all, the definition of issue and challenge of Shariah supervision in Islamic financial institution in Malaysia. The definition of Shariah supervision is pursuing, examining, analyzing all the action, behavior, and conduct of individuals, group, by financial to ensure that the financial institution complies with Shariah. Next, Islamic financial institution can be defined as Islamic banking system that adhere to the guidelines of Islamic Shariah law and non-contradictory principle of Islam. Next part, we are going to present about Shariah supervision background. In 1963, a bank at Egypt was established because inspired by German saving bank. The bank changed the concept which comply with Shariah, but they not write or clearly state that they adhere Islamic law. During foreign minister sitting on 1973, Islamic bank have been known and expanded to many countries. That is the starting point which most conventional banks convert to Islamic bank institution. There are two main reasons why the Islamic bank are established. Firstly, it is because Islam have their own rule, guideline and law that need to follow, which called Shariah. Secondly, because Islam haram from doing riba, which high interest for high profit, benefit only for bank and harm to the client. To make sure the Islamic financial institution follow the Shariah, it needs to have Shariah supervision. The Shariah supervision must be conducted by a council. The assisted council can be called the Shariah Advisory Council. Last part is Shariah supervision objective. Firstly, as a monitor to all activities and guide the institution with Shariah. Second, to make sure the Shariah is applied in every department in institution. Lastly, to analyze and audit the institution. Thank you.
Next, we will be explaining the findings part, which contains the issues and also challenges of the Shariah supervisions. For the first point is the Shariah review is not a mandatory. The Shariah review role is viewed as a vital instrument in the Shariah governance framework to seek effective governance practices in monitoring and assurance of Islamic financial institutions' activities. There is no standard format report needed to be included and not required to prepare the Shariah review report. The banks also verify the review process based on the authentic and reliable information. The next point is reliance on the internal audit of Islamic financial institution. It shows that Islamic financial institution Shariah governance practices have gaps and also flaws, especially in terms of the general approach. Different Shariah scholars hold opposing viewpoints on specific topics, and all of that have substantial flaws and deficiencies. They also pay attention to the internal audit in order to assure the effectiveness of Shariah compliance, which can benefit society as whole. Next, efficient internal audit functions are more likely to discover from. For the third point is independence of Shariah auditors. First, they audit their own work, which raises the questions of independence as well as a potential conflict of interest. Next, the difficulty for Islamic academics in the modern corporate world is to interpret Islamic principles in a way to fulfill modern-day requirements while still protecting the Islamic identity. Their work will be questioned if they do not comprehend the meaning of fatwa and also Shariah decision. Last but not least, current standard based on a traditional framework appear insufficient to guide Islamic financial institution. The Islamic verdicts and rulings should be depicted through Shariah.
Fourthly, the issue that related to the competency of Shariah committee members are shortage of Shariah expertise. A well-functioning Shariah committee is expected to be effective, efficient, consistent, and transparent in its deliberation and decision. Shariah members should ideally be knowledgeable in both Islamic law and the banking and accounting field. This is due to the unique and important responsibility played by the Shariah members. It is a challenging task for Shariah committee to apply Islamic commercial law in every transaction. This is Shariah committee report. Shariah Committee are required to provide information on their activities through formal report on an annual basis. Before an Islamic financial institution prepare reports on its activity, it is required to undergo a Shariah review process by an independent internal Shariah auditors to make sure all of the transactions follow the Shariah principle. The review process sometimes becomes difficult due to the lack of standard guidelines. In Malaysia, the central bank required all the Islamic financial institutions to prepare a Shariah report to be submitted with their annual audited financial statement. Lastly, the competency of Shariah Committee. The issue of the competency of Shariah Supervision Board SSB members when it comes to the performance of conducting Shariah audit. The members of Shariah Supervision Board are well qualified in the task of issuing fatwa about the permissibility of any financial product. They are unable to stand as qualified auditor because lack of necessary qualification and training. In my opinion, Shariah Committee are expected to enhance their competency level with regards to finance and banking business. They need to build up a pool of Shariah scholars who are expert in finance and banking as well as research related to Islamic finance.
Shariah supervision is an essential element to an Islamic financial institution. As stated at the findings, there are 6 issues and challenges that has been discovered, and the suggestion for each issue were concluded and suggested as follows. Shariah Supervisory Board should obligate and command the Islamic financial institution to send review report regularly to make sure that all of their activities always be monitored accordingly. Next, every Islamic financial institution need to have an effective and reliable internal auditors to maintain the transparency. Shariah Advisory Council should provide more training and opportunity to have more qualified Shariah committee, and a bunch of Shariah scholars should be gathered to improve the Islamic financial institution performance and sustain the institution's credibility. In conclusion, the suggestion and recommendation that we provide is to make sure that all the Islamic financial institution in Malaysia is Shariah compliant and can be trusted. This is very important because this awareness can help them to continue serving the customers with products and services according to Shariah. That's all. Thank you.